Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Brendan Rodgers guides Celtic to the first domestic trophy of the season, and the odds have been slashed on the champions winning the treble. Hearts are confident they can move into second place in the table by defeating Rangers at Tynecastle on Wednesday. And with that in mind, has Joe Dodu done enough to get himself a starting place in that Rangers team after his double secured all 3 points against Partick Thistle at the weekend? Just a few of the topics we'll be discussing. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Marston. Our bookroom guest on a Monday is Mark Guidi. So straight to the cup final, Hampden. It played out as many expected, Ruffy.
Yeah, I think you touched on it before the game, that Aberdeen needed to score first. They needed to do something very early in the game. They never done that. You know, Celtic came out, as you would expect, and dominated the game and got the goal at the right time. And I think once that ball hit the back of the net, I think it was curtains. I said before it, there's too many times when that Aberdeen side go there with confidence, you know, playing well, and they just don't turn up. You know, certain players, I don't know what it is, in the cup final you expect a wee bit more from them, but they can't be able to produce it, whereas Celtic can. Celtic go into finals, maybe it's because they've been in more finals than the others, but they certainly, certain players raise their game, and that's why they won the other day. I
mean, let's be brutal about it, Mark. If the best player that they have, Johnny Hayes, doesn't perform, the rest are struggling as well, and they just weren't at it at all. I thought the first 10-15 minutes just set the tone.
Yeah, you know, Celtic didn't allow Aberdeen to impose themselves in the game. They got a goal fairly earlier on, and you know, Celtic never looked back. Aberdeen had one chance, Considine's header, Craig Gordon's palmed it away, but that apart, never really get in behind Celtic, never split them open. And I think one of the things that would really disappoint Derek McInnes most was the manner in which his team defended, or the lack of defending in terms of quality for the second goal for James Forrest, and that one's absolutely killed the game, you know, 2-0 at half time. So over the piece, so you've got to remember that Celtic do have better players, and the only chance for Aberdeen to win as much as their own players would have to be in major form is that Celtic's key players weren't at it. But Scott Brown absolutely bossed that game. James Forrest in the wide area, Tom Rogic in behind, and Simonovic and Sviatchenko were solid, so Celtic deserved to win, and it actually could have been more.
Yep. This is what Brendan Rodgers had to say after the game in the press conference about the performance of his side.
Pleased with the performance. I thought in a cup final, and after all the games that we've had as well, to play with that composure. You know, I thought tactically the team was excellent in the game. Really had to press the game, really aggressive, and then showed our quality when we had the ball. So, yeah, very, very pleased to play with that calmness. And like I say, apart from the probably 10-minute spell, which you expect, you know, in the second half when Aberdeen probably have to throw everything, I thought in the main we controlled the game very, very well. So I'm delighted for the football club. You know, I think it was about 6 months and a week to the day that I came in, and we wanted, you know, we talked about what we wanted to achieve and how we wanted to do it, and we're certainly well on our way to that. So, very, very pleased with the performance.
No surprise, Ruffy, the odds have been slashed on Celtic winning the treble.
Yeah, we weren't talking about the treble before this game, but I think we all knew as soon as if they did win it, that would be on the agenda. I know Brendan will play it down a wee bit, but to be the manager in his first year, you know, we all talk about how hard it is to get a treble, you know, and I think he looks really odds on for it now. You know, obviously some team will have to come up with to beat them because they look so far ahead of everybody else. I think all the European stuff now is they're beginning to get a benefit of it. You know, the players are coming off the European games back into the club football, and we know there's a big gap there, but they're so far ahead that they're steamrolling everybody.
Yep, here's a couple of players' view on the 90 minutes and winning the cup. Eric Sviatchenko and Patrick Roberts.
I think we believed, and we had a game plan that was really, really good, and we executed it perfectly with 3 goals and not many chances conceded, so that's a good thing.
I came here last year in the other cup and it wasn't the best, and then we came here a couple months ago and It was joy then, and we knew the job today was to control the game and obviously play him off the park, which I think at times we did, and showed by the 3 goals.
I clearly remember when I came to Celtic, I said I wanted to be remembered and I wanted to be part of something greater, and I must say that be part of a 100th trophy, that's good.
I mean, under normal circumstances, Mark, you would look at that performance and, sometimes you'd be a little reluctant to suggest that they could go through an entire season unbeaten. I think that's maybe a bridge too far for them, but we're now looking at stats where Craig Gordon, 14 hours and 16 minutes without conceding a goal.
Yeah, it's incredible, Peter, and that's the thing, it's not only about beating Celtic, but just trying to penetrate them, trying to get that goal against them. As you say, they are absolutely unstoppable just now, and what is evident and has been evident in the past few months, and I think will be, because I think they'll target going through the season unbeaten as well as winning the Chile, was they're treating every game, that old cliche, like a cup final. They're not going to think, well, we're 10 points ahead in the league, we can afford to drop 2 or 3 points today. They're actually focusing on doing that. So I think Brendan Rodgers and his players have got that mentality that they want to break every record possible in this campaign. And by the way, what a chance I've got of doing it.
Yeah, the downside to all of this has to be the opponents, Aberdeen. We've mentioned that they were disappointing on the day, and I think you can tell by the mood of Derek McInnes, he was bitterly disappointed with the performance.
With the experience we wanted, it was important that we try and pick ourselves up. I believe we're a team that can get back to another final, and hopefully again this year in the Scottish Cup. And I think we can use today's sobering experience to help us and to our advantage going into the next one. Because I believe this team, our team, my team, will get to another final, and hopefully the experience of today, the pain of today, helps us win another cup. I don't mind putting ourselves up there to be shot down. We were huge underdogs today. If anybody looks at it analytically and really looks at the differences, they're a huge underdog today. I get that, but I still expected us to win. I still thought we would win the game, and I thought our preparation was good going into it. I thought we were in good form going into it. But like I say, that Celtic team don't need to be at their maximum to beat most teams, and to beat them, I think you probably have to be yourself, and we weren't that today.
Well, I think that line is rather ominous. That Celtic side don't have to be at their maximum to beat most of the teams in that Premiership.
Yeah, true. Derek is absolutely spot on about it. And the thing is, even if you've got 1 or 2 off form, or 1 or 2 that have maybe a good week in training, look at the sidelines. Look at what they've got. They've got Kolo Toure. Can I get a game just now at centre half? You've got Kieran Tierney to come back. You've got Gary Mackay-Stephen back in. Nadir Chifchi doesn't feature. You've got Lee Griffiths, 40 goals last season. So there's all sorts of options. Near Beaton, Callum McGregor. The list is endless, Peter. And I've said in this programme many times now, nobody is close to Celtic. No team's close to them. And unless there's a dramatic crash in what Celtic do on and off the park, it's going to be that way for at least 2 or 3 years. Yeah,
I mean, that's the worrying aspect of it. You like to see, there were 6 different winners prior to the cup final, Ruffy, of the League Cup, and you'd Inverness sampling Scottish Cup success as well. That's been spread about. Football supporters have started to come back to the grounds. I mean, Aberdeen had a fantastic support, and that just shows you even of a sniff of success that the Dons fans will get behind them. But by the time we got to half time, I think some of them were actually heading for the exit.
Yeah, I think Derek before the game was trying to, I don't know if he was trying to use it for his players or his fans to say that he didn't think there was a gap. In any of the games they played, he didn't think they were far behind. But I think he found out in Sunday that they are far behind, in every department, and I think you can tell by the interview there. I think he's really disappointed. Basically, getting to a final, not putting in a performances. You want to put a performance if you get to a final, and they never did it.
I'm going to continue in the second part of the programme on the theme of this, but do you think Stuart Milne and the board need to try and give him money in January to make sure they're in that mix for second place, or does he have enough in reserve?
No, I think they've got enough. I think the players we spoke about before the game, they just never played at the weekend. I think on the long term, I think they're good enough to be second. I still think they are the second best team in the league.
Okay, as ever on a Monday, we'll look back over some of the results in the weekend in the Premiership. Of course, there was Scottish Cup third round ties, quite a number of them, 9 in fact postponed. We'll discuss the ones that got played as well, and we'll look ahead to that game at Tynecastle, which is of course on Wednesday night. Hearts against Rangers. It has the makings of an absolute cracker, but who's going to come out on top? We'll get the thoughts of Ruffy and Mark Guidi next. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. It is a really tight league. Of course, League Cup final taking place on the Sunday, but on the Saturday, it's amazing how 20, 30 seconds can change your fortunes. Of course, Ruffy, I'm talking about Rangers. It looked ominous for them, and then suddenly Joe Dodu popped up. First goal a cracker, second one, I think maybe the goalkeeper will feel slightly aggrieved that he let that one slip under him.
Yeah, you're right. The first goal was a well-taken goal. I don't think any goalkeeper was going to stop that one. I think Alan Archibald and the Partick Thistle boys will be really disappointed with the second one. You know, it's just not the first time it's happened. It's happened about 5 or 6 times, and if you start counting up the points that they're throwing out the window, you can see where they are just now. It's going to be very, very vital. But you're right, the second goal was disappointing. I thought the goalkeeper could have done a lot better than that. You could tell by his face when he came off, he knew that he had to do something, but he never did anything, and lost the game.
If you scored 2 goals, especially the winner, in a dramatic finish like that, I think Dodu's put himself in the box seat surely for Tynecastle Wednesday, Mark.
He's got to start. He's obviously behind confidence now. The winning goal, Rangers kept going to the end. Hell of a tough game on Wednesday night. When games at Tynecastle, when Old Firm go there, are brilliant, and Wednesday night will be no exception, Peter. But absolutely, Dodu has got to start the game. He's shown more than Joe Garner. I would still find a place for Kenny Miller in the team. I think Kenny's maybe been Rangers' most consistent performer this season, but certainly put Dodu in there. He absolutely deserves his chance.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Kenny Miller, because I read a quote before. It's Mark Warburton saying he'll drop Kenny Miller when the time is right. The time was right, I think, in June, Ruffy, because he was at the centre of the 2 goals that Rangers got.
Yeah, and I think that's the position that Rangers are in just now. I think we can see that they're struggling a wee bit, and the players he's brought in, if any of them had come up with the goods, Kenny probably would have been playing a bit part, because of his age and everything. They'll bring him on certain games or giving him a spell out, giving him a rest, but it's because the players that he's signed haven't really come up to the mark that Kenny's played 90 minutes at the weekend there, and I'm sure he'll be enjoying every minute of it, and he has been, as Mark said, he has been their best player, so I'm sure long may it continue for him.
Yep, all the hullabaloo about Hearts strikers not scoring goals. Suddenly Bjorn Jonsson pops up with a couple. Robbie Nielsen saying this morning that it's a big game, feels confident the side's playing well enough to move into second with a win over Rangers.
Well, that's the incentive for Hearts on Wednesday night in front of their own supporters. They've been a bit up and down the past few weeks, but that was a good result for them on Saturday. And like we just said there about Dodu, Jonsson's a man in form. Throw him in there. I'm reading John Souter's stuff today talking about the presence that he's got. He's an awkward customer, and he'll be quite happy to get in about Hill or Kiernan or Danny Wilson, whoever it happens to be, in the centre of defence for Rangers. So listen, it's got the makings, as usual, of an absolute cracker.
There's 2 ways to look at this. You can flip this one any way you want. Depends on your persuasion, I would presume, from a fan's perspective. Is it papering over the cracks that Rangers have left it very late in the last 2 games, or is it a measure of the resilience that they just never give up?
It's got to be a bit of both. You've got to be trying to win games comfortably and not put yourself in that position. And when you look at, I hate talking about budgets all the time, but it's a simple fact, as Derek McInnes mentioned earlier in the programme, his budget and Celtic's budget, that with Rangers' budget, the quality of player that they're bringing in, that the manager's got to spend, they should be doing better than what they're doing. But the fact that they're not giving up, it shows that they are resilient. It shows that they want to go and do it for their supporters, for their manager, for themselves. So that is a positive. However, they are underperforming. Yeah.
Could Jamie Walker propel himself into Gordon Strachan's thoughts over the next couple of months? He's certainly caught my eye over the last couple of weeks, Ruffy.
Yeah, I think he's a wonderful player. Obviously got a wee bit of stick with the penalty carry on, but I think he's moved on for that. He's a tricky player, scores excellent goals. Why not? I mean, I think Gordon brought Tony Watt in at one stage. Why not give the boy a chance?
Yeah, you need to let that penalty thing go, Roffy. I'd forgotten all about it. you just let it go, Roffy. It's bye.
Only 4 months ago.
It's always if every time I mention Jamie Walker, he goes, and don't forget the penalty thing.
You know what like fans are, they do. The fans don't forget.
There's no fans on this show, Roffy. Let it go. Apart from that, Robbie Nielsen did mention something which was a key to this, I think. We've been talking about it all the time. January transfer window. If Anne Budge and the board suddenly think, okay, we'll give you another couple. I think Aberdeen, Rangers, and Hearts. It's what they do in January that could make the difference. Yeah,
well, I mean, they certainly won't want to lose any key players, and they've all got a couple that there might be sniffs from elsewhere, but they want to enhance. As every manager will tell you, they want to come February the 1st. They want to be out of the window stronger than what they were going into it. So by that they'll be Derek McInnes will beat Stuart Milne, Robbie Nielsen at Anne Budge, Mark Warburton at Dave King, squeezing them for every penny they've got, because that 3 in that mini league, and don't rule out St Johnstone either, sneaking up to join them, is intriguing, and every manager is under a different kind of pressure. Derek McInnes will want to hang on to that second best team in Scotland tag. Mark Warburton, I think if he doesn't deliver second, he comes under pressure for his job. And then you get Robbie Nielsen, just what's away a wee bit more under the radar, but has worked wonders at Hearts in the past 2 years. Yeah, I've still got him second. Who's your tip for second? I'm not sure. Probably Rangers, I think. Yeah. Okay. Ruffy, did you? Aberdeen. You had Aberdeen. Okay. So we're all differing, right? Here's the results from the weekend in the Premiership, just to go back over them for you. Of course, as you can see, Rangers left it late but got the 3 points. Hearts comfortable against Motherwell, and our man Ali Crawford from his midweek appearance came up with another cracking free kick, Ruffy, just over the wall, dipping into the back of the net. Bags of ability. We keep repeating ourselves saying, don't understand why somebody's not taking a chance on him. I know Hamilton don't want to hear you saying that, but certainly I think the teams that we're talking about, Aberdeen, Hearts, even Rangers, I think he would go into any of these sides and do very, very well. Yep, and the nature of the league, I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I think it's too cutthroat, and I don't think it lends itself to managers, blooding other players to get regular football. Mark, I know you might disagree with me, but there's Dundee suddenly propelled into an area which is just a little bit, better than previous weeks for them, and it was a big win for them against Inverness. They hadn't won against them in 16 attempts. I was there on Saturday, and to go from 12th bottom of the league to joint 6th, and you look at that table, Peter, 6-7 teams there with 2-3 points between them. It's fantastic, and that's why I love the split. That's why I love the fact now that we've got somebody goes down and we've got a playoff if you finish an 11th spot, because if it keeps going the way it's going, can you imagine the split come April time when they've all got to play each other? It'll be absolutely brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be brilliant for us, but it won't be brilliant for the nerves of the managers. They'll be shot to pieces by then. Before we touch on the Scottish Cup results, who are you tipping for the game on Wednesday night, Hearts Rangers? I think Hearts could sneak that one 2-1. Yeah, I think it'll be close as well. Maybe 1-0 Hearts. 1-0 Hearts, okay, interesting. You two guys plumbing for Hearts. Of course, Callum Patterson fit to play in that one. That could be a huge bonus for them as well. Just a little one I read there, Robbie Nielsen being linked as one of the favourites for the MK Dons job. Sometimes when I see that two days before a big game, I think it's a wee bit of skullduggery going on here. Call me a cynic, Mark. MK Dons obviously been in the public eye recently with their bold move to try and get Steven Gerrard. What they say about the club down there, it's obviously got a good stadium. They've got a really good chairman, a very loyal fella. Is it right for Robbie Nielsen to go to MK Dons just now? No, I wouldn't think so, not for me. No, I'm in your camp on that one. Here's the Scottish Cup results over the weekend. There were so many games off, and I think Bonnyrigg Rose will be happy with a 0-0, a second bite at Dumbarton. A big win for Dunfermline at Buckie Thistle, and so many other games called off. That was the first part of that card. The second part of it with the results that we can take a look at now, hopefully. Yeah, we can. Share of the spoils between Forest Mechanics and Stenhousemuir. Big result there. Elgin City 8,
Hawick, Royal Albert 1, and a great result for Jim Goodwin, I have to say, up there against Peterhead. Just before we go, I've got to mention, Ruffy, Hibs, 11,000 plus season tickets sold. They're trying to break the record of 11,500. The Hibs fans have responded big time to not only the Scottish Cup, but Neil Lennon, the top of the table. They've got a big game against Dundee United on Friday.
Yeah, they certainly have, but it's the same sort of a thing that happened when Alec McLeish went down to that division, sitting top of the league. The crowds were up at 15,000, 16,000. It just goes to show you, fans want to see a winning side, and they'll come along if you're playing good football, and that's what Neil's got them doing.
Yeah, now how do you see that game going?
I'm going to go for the Hibs win.
Yep, okay. He's not going to break that 37-week run of tipping Hibs to win. Mark?
Hibs, Dundee United, I like both sides. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a score draw.
Okay, yeah, watch your skills. Thanks to Mark Guidi for a bold prediction there. Just wants to keep the two managers on side from Ruffy and myself. Thanks for watching. Good night.